This is the Epic Poker League, a league comprised of the world's best in the game. To play in this league, you need more than just the buy-in. You need to prove you deserve to be counted as one of the best. The only way mere mortals like you and I can play in poker's most exclusive field is to showcase your skills at the Epic Poker League's Pro-Am event. Hello everyone, I'm Chris Hansen. With me is Fred Bevel, and we're at the Palms Casino Resort in the heart of Las Vegas, Nevada. This week, the HPT is bringing you poker history in the making as we bring you exclusive coverage of the inaugural Epic Poker League's Pro-Am event. This has been touted by many players in this field as the hardest $1,500 event they've ever played. Throughout play this weekend, we saw some players rise to the challenge, while others cracked under the pressure. Everyone here is playing for a $20,000 seat that could be worth $1 million. The chance to play with poker's elite and to be the first ever Epic Poker League Pro-Am champion.
My name is Micah Raskin. I have a direct marketing company and a software company.
I'm Andy Block. I live in Las Vegas, Nevada. I'm a professional poker player.
My name is Brandon Myers, and I play poker for a living.
Well, my name is Clifford Wade. I'm from Grand Junction, Colorado. I just retired from truck driving.
My name is Jeremiah DeGrief. I used to be an internet poker player, but now I'm looking for a job.
My name is Steve O'Dwyer. I'm from Doylestown, Pennsylvania, and I'm a professional poker player.
Being the first in anything is going down in the history books. People don't remember who's the 7th or who's the 20th or even the 2nd. You want to win the first event.
Yeah, it definitely would be cool to be the first Epic Poker League Pro-Am champion.
To be able to say that I won the first ever Epic Poker event would be pretty cool.
I love to be an innovator, love to be the first one to achieve something, and if I have anything to do with it, I might just do that.
I know there's a lot of tough players to get through. I'll do my best.
I'll worry about tomorrow. Today is focused on 5 other players, and my goal is to beat those 5 players.
They come from all walks of life, each with a story to tell. All they need is a chip and a chair. It's an open casting call for those who love the game. This ain't your weekend home game. This is the HPT.
Sit right down, put on your poker face. You with the big dogs now. Better bring your best game. Talk trash all you want. To me, it's all the same. You won't leave with much when you come in second place. And I'm the one with the stack showing 7 to the jack. Gonna cry to your mama, cause I'm sending you back. I'll be the last man standing with the money in my hand. I'll be the last man standing with the money in my hand. Last man standing with the money in my hand. I'll be the last man standing with the money in my hand.
In 1994, that happened to be the first year that I played the World Series of Poker. And it was the silver anniversary that year. And Jack Binion, to celebrate the silver anniversary, did a few things. The winner got his weight in silver, but another thing that he did was that if you made the money of any event that year, and there were very few events back then, there were only about 21 events, you got a little bar of silver in a velvet pouch. Now, I've gotten a lot of things in poker, and there is nothing I cherish more than those little silver bars, and I still have them. So when I went to our ring designer, I said I want to be able to give a token to the people who actually capture these seats, because it's a big deal, particularly as a non-card holder, to be able to get one of these seats. And I just challenged him with not a lot of direction. I just told him this story. And I said, could you please recreate this sentiment for me? And this is what he came up with. And there are only 9 of these in the world. They are dated for you. It's with great pleasure that I'm going to present you with the first ever Commissioner's coin. Congratulations.
With Fred Bevel, I'm Chris Hansen, and we just saw Epic Poker League Commissioner Annie Duke handing out the Commissioner's coins that go to the top 9 finishers here at the Pro-Am event. And Fred, that's why we're here, to show you the very first Pro-Am event for entrance into the Epic Poker League.
This has been a really fun mix of the who's who of poker and the who's that of poker.
Right.
We've seen card-carrying Epic Poker League professionals along with other professional hopefuls looking to get into the Epic Poker League, and of course skilled amateurs looking for their shot at the game's best. Now, the top 9 have already won the coveted $20,000 seat into the main event. The 6 left are looking to be enshrined as the first ever Pro-Am champion.
Still a lot to play for here tonight at the Palms. Let's meet the 6 players who are still left at our final table.
In seat number 1, this is Micah Raskin from Old Westbury, New York. Micah considers himself a man of dual professions. He owns his own business, and his poker play has gone to a little more than a hobby. It's now a supplemental income.
In seat number 2, joining us here at the Palms this week is HPT Final Table alumni Cliff Waite, a retired truck driver from Grand Junction, Colorado, got to this final table thanks to a $180 satellite.
In seat number 3, this is professional poker player Steve O'Dwyer from Doylestown, Pennsylvania. Steve says he has prepared for this moment for a long time. He is ready to win, misqualifying for the Epic Poker League by just a couple of $100,000. He is making his mark today.
It doesn't get any easier. This is Brandon Myers in seat 4. He is originally from Minneapolis, now lives here in the Las Vegas area. He's married with 2 kids, over $2 million in career earnings for Brandon.
In seat number 5, this is a man who deserves our respect. He is a veteran of the United States Army, Jeremiah DeGrief, starting tonight as one of the short stacks with just $230,000 in chips. During his time in the military, he was an Arabic translator.
And finally in seat 6, this is Andy Block. Andy graduated from MIT with 2 electrical engineering degrees and then from Harvard Law School after that. And oh yeah, he's one of the best poker players on the planet as well here at our final table. Steve O'Dwyer is our chip leader starting this final table with 29% of the chips in play. On the other end, Micah Raskin is our short stack.
Blind starting off at tonight's final table at 4 and 8,000 with a 1,000 chip ante.
And Fred, as you probably noticed, the hairs are standing up on the back of my neck. We're in Vegas yet again.
Good time, good time.
Action is folded to Cliff. He will fold, and now to the button. This is Steve O'Dwyer. He is our chip leader. He will fold, and now to the blinds.
Brandon Myers with King 4 suited.
How much did you start with again?
231,000.
Cool.
Brandon is going to limp in from the small blind, giving the option to Jeremiah.
King Jack in the big blind.
Small blind just limps in. You wake up with 2 pieces of paint.
Raise.
He is going to raise.
Makes it 21,000.
Raise to 21,000.
Brandon trying to decide if he wants to play the rest of this hand out of position and risk more chips with King 4 suited. He does make the call, and so let's see our first flop here from the Palms. It's Jack, Jack 5 with 2 hearts.
What a great flop for Jeremiah. He's flopped trip jacks, but that board texture isn't going to allow him to sit around. He's going to have to bet here.
Brandon will check.
And Jeremiah is going to lead out, bets 19,000. And now Brandon Myers with no pair, no draw, hoping to get lucky in the flop. He missed. Obvious what he's going to do. Okay, my bad. Not obvious what he's going to do.
Not so obvious what he's going to do. The bet is 19,000. Brandon's a professional poker player originally from Minneapolis, Minnesota. Now lives here in the Las Vegas area in Henderson, Nevada. And he is going to raise Jeremiah.
Makes it 47,000 to go, 28,000 for Jeremiah to call. Brandon not picking the best time to make a play here. Betting into a monster hand.
So if you're Jeremiah, do you let him continue to bluff at this maybe on the turn and just flat call here?
Well, Jeremiah might be reading that Brandon is semi-bluffing with a flush draw. If he has him on that, he's going to want to pounce right here and get him off the hand.
Or simply just putting out a continuation bet after raising pre-flop.
Sure.
I'm all in.
Jeremiah goes all in. Brandon snap folds.
He took his one shot at winning the first pot here at our final table. It didn't go so well for Brandon, and the short stack is going to pick up some much-needed chips.
All of these players are professional poker players with the exception of Cliff Waite in seat number 2. He is the Cinderella story here at this Epic Poker League Pro-Am field.
Here. This works pretty well.
Cliff has cashed in 5 of the last 6 events he has played, so he is playing very well. On the HPT, he does have 5 cashes and 1 final table.
Steve O'Dwyer, our chip leader, under the gun, raises it up with Jack 10 offsuit.
I disagree.
Andy folds.
Action is folded around to Micah. King Jack. Micah's from Long Island, New York.
19.
Micah is going to make the call with King Jack.
And now to Cliff.
I couldn't see.
Sometimes known to us after a couple of beers as Cliffy.
He's got 5-6 offsuit in the big blind, priced in to see a flop here, and that's exactly what he's going to do.
Absolutely. So 3 players will see the flop.
You are.
Flop is 4 Queen 7 Rainbow.
Good flop for the big blind Cliff Wade. He has flopped an open-ended straight draw. Right now, Micah has the best hand with King High. He's going to check.
And Cliff will check. And now to the pre-flop raiser, our chip leader, Steve O'Dwyer.
No surprise that Steve is going to lead out. I think you would a continuation bet here on any kind of a flop.
Micah folds, and now to Cliff, who will be going nowhere with his open-ended straight draw.
Cliff is going to make the call and see a turn, hoping for a 3 or an 8 here on the turn to make his straight.
And the turn is an ace.
Well, that's got to worry Cliff a little bit, given that Steve was a pre-flop raiser under the gun.
Cliff's first to act.
And look at Cliff go, staging some chips here on a semi-bluff. He is going to lead out on the turn.
Cliff representing that he hit the ace on the turn. The chip leader looking over the HPT veteran.
Well, Steve continuation bet on a bluff, had nothing but Jack High. Now he's turned a gut shot straight draw. Let's see if he wants to see a river for 30,000. He does not, and Cliff scoops 160,000 in chips just by betting.
Give him a hand. He did well to get
HPT
that
veteran doing very well here in the inaugural Epic Poker League Pro-Am. And more poker when we come back.
My name is Micah Raskin. I have a direct marketing company and a software company. I definitely think Epic Poker is something new and exciting. This is a perfect opportunity to, show your stuff on television and being able to beat and compete with the best in the world. My father taught me to play cards when I was a little kid. Always played gin rummy and played poker, so always had it in me a little bit. My father sang on Broadway. My mother was a jazz singer, so they met on stage. So I love to sing in my spare time, and we have a band called Backseat Betty, and we play clubs all around Long Island and New York City, and we have about 200 friends that come out to see us. They say we're pretty good, so I love it. I do it just for fun. Well, at first, my mother didn't really like it. She says, what are you wasting your time? And then as soon as she saw me on TV a couple times and saw that I won over $1 million, she still busts my chops about it, but a little bit less now.
Definitely some talent in Micah. His dad was a Broadway singer. His mother was a jazz singer, so you can see where the singing pipes come from. But right now, Micah needs some help dancing around being eliminated here at our final table.
Only with 70,000 in chips right now. Blind's going up to 5 and 10,000.
Cliff has first act, Queen Jack of Diamonds.
Earlier in the week at this Pro-Am event, Cliff said to me that this was by far the hardest $1,500 event he'd ever played, but he said he thinks his game grew a lot getting through this field.
A lot of big names in this inaugural Pro-Am here to try to get a spot in the Epic Poker League's main event.
Cliff limps from under the gun. Andy Block also limps, and here we go to Micah Resgan, who is going to shove it all in with 8-7 offsuit, sensing some weakness with all the limping. Micah with only 70,000 in chips might get called here by both these guys. He's got a good shot at tripling up.
And at this point, hey, why not? Go ahead. Both call me. Let's see if I can triple up and make a big run here.
Cliff is going to fold, and Andy is going to fold.
Wow. And for Micah, courtesy of the blinds and the limps, that's almost as good as a double up.
Pretty close. Scoops a little over 100,000 in chips with that.
Now keep in mind that all of these 6 players do have their $20,000 seat into the Epic Poker League main event. The only way you can get in if you don't have a card is by getting in through this Pro-Am. So they already have that, but now playing Fred for some extra prize money here at our final table.
And bragging rights, saying that they are the inaugural Epic Pro-Am champion. Andy Block raises it up with ace-queen.
Over to Micah. He folds. Now to Cliff with ace-jack.
Oh, this could be trouble for Cliff Waite.
All kinds of trouble versus ace-queen.
I don't mind sharing with everybody. I'm a friend of Cliff Waite's. I am rooting for Cliff Waite. I know we're supposed to be impartial here, buddy, but I can't help myself.
I hope he goes down in a ball of flames.
Wow! You do not mean that.
All right, action is now over to Brandon. 2 of diamonds, 9 of spades out of the big blind. Is a big no thank you. And so it'll be heads up with Cliff and Andy. And Cliff right now way behind. Here comes the flop at 7, 10, 9, 2 spades.
Well, Cliff has flopped a gut shot straight draw, but right now still just crushed by ace-queen. Cliff is going to be wise to check here. Free turn card coming.
And the turn is a 5 of clubs.
That's a blank for both of these players. Right now, Andy Block still the best of it with ace-queen. And he is going to fire again.
He's going to bet less than half of the pot.
And Cliff with ace high and a gut shot straight draw is going to make the call.
And the river is a jack, and a very lucky jack for Cliff. He gets himself out of a straitjacket.
Well, Cliff does have the best hand right now, but giving that board texture, we got 4 to a straight out there. We've got 3 spades out there. Andy with ace-queen is going to slow down. Now, Cliff should be wise here and just check and let the cards do the speaking. You don't want to give a player like Andy Block a chance to repop you. But Cliff is believing he's got the best hand with top, and he is going to see where he's at.
This is a sucker bet if I've ever seen it. 30,000 is the bet from Cliff, just screaming to please call. And Andy will fold, and so Cliff Waite is going to pick up a nice pot here at our final table.
Well played by Mr. Waite. He is going to scoop a second pot here. This one worth a little over 150,000 in chips.
More poker from the Palms in Las Vegas when we come back on the HPT.
Hi, my name is Jeremiah DeGrief. I used to be an internet poker player, but now I'm looking for a job. In the past, I was in the U.S. Army. I was a translator. I was translating Arabic, and I was injured while I was in the Army, so I wasn't able to continue doing that job. Since I couldn't be in the Army anymore, I transitioned to playing online poker. Well, I've got a young son, Max. Hi, Max. So he takes up a lot of my time, but I also like to go out in the mountains. I'm a big rock climber. I wasn't really making any money. I climbed in professional competitions. I competed at a high level, but it was more like a serious amateur thing. That's sort of how I see myself as a poker player at this point. A competent amateur who I think can hold my ground against the big boys. I got pretty lucky and won a couple small tournaments on the internet back in 2005 and 2006. I wasn't that good back then, I admit it, but I put a lot of work into my game, and since then I've definitely seen a little bit more success, and I feel really good about how I've advanced as a poker player.
And here is the updated chip count. Steve O'Dwyer still our chip leader, and Micah still riding that short stack, hopefully to a Epic Poker League Pro-Am win. And Jeremiah, Fred, he said since online poker's really went downhill, he's looking for another profession he can do while he stays at home in his underwear.
I've been looking for that kind of profession my whole life.
If you find something, let's get a three-way kind of job working here. We can make an office of that.
Brandon Myers looks at ace-jack. He is first to enter the pot, and he is going to raise it up. Makes it 25,000 to go.
And now over to Jeremiah.
The remaining of the 1
He
point.
folds to Andy. Ace-7 offsuit.
Andy Block, once a member of the MIT Blackjack team. Did you ever see the movie 21?
I sure did. I had to stop halfway through it when I found out it wasn't any training manual. Yeah. Apparently it's frowned upon.
Andy Block raised enough to put Brandon all in, and Brandon makes the call with ace-jack, and he's going to find he's way ahead and poised to double up.
We're going to have a pot here worth almost $500,000 in chips. Brandon hoping to hold here. Here comes the flop. It's 6 deuce 4, 2 clubs.
Safe flop for Brandon Myers. Still looking good. Just needs to fade that 7 or running clubs or running straight cards.
And here comes the turn. It's a queen. So far, so good for Brandon.
Andy looking for a 7 and only a 7.
And the river's at 10, and so Brandon is going to double up, and he will now have $426,000 in chips. Describes his game as ever-evolving and aggressive.
That just sounds scary.
It does, doesn't it? That's way beyond me. Action is on Steve. 10 deuce. Folded.
I don't know what to do.
8-4 for Brandon. Through the muck. Jeremiah will fold. Over to Andy. Queen 5.
Welcome.
Quickly coming around to Micah, our short stack. 9-3 of hearts. Micah's going to call the big blind of 5,000 chips. Over to Cliff with 7 deuce.
Cliff in the big blind has the option.
Would you start the hand?
And Cliff with 7 deuce is getting an inventory of Micah's chip count.
That doesn't muddle me much.
Cliff is originally from Grand Junction, Colorado. Drove truck for a living until he retired a couple of years back. He's going to check his option.
And here comes the flop. It's 3, queen 3. Nice flop for Micah, don't you think, Fred?
Yeah, trip 3s is pretty good. Wanted to see a cheap flop with a raggedy hand, and those rags have turned into riches. Unfortunately, Cliff has 7 deuce and is probably not going to invest another chip to this pot.
Micah is going to bet instead of letting Cliff maybe take a stab at this pot with a bluff. Micah bets 25,000.
Cliff might have taken a stab at this on the flop if Micah would have checked.
I blew it.
Micah chose to lead out. Cliff is going to fold his 7 deuce.
I had you done. No.
And so Micah will win this hand. Keep in mind, again, all these players do have a $20,000 seat waiting for them in the Epic Poker League main event. But also our winner tonight will walk away with $24,000 in cash.
And bragging rights.
Yeah,
There's only going to be one inaugural champion. One of these 6 men will be that person.
Here's your chance.
And now over to
It's a
Cliff.
lifetime opportunity here.
Steve O'Dwyer kind of goading him into making a play here.
I have one of those lines.
Queen 4 for Cliff.
Thank you. Appreciate it. It looks pretty good.
Steve watching very carefully
When they're,
what
like,
Cliff
in the
is
book,
about
they
to
make
do
it
out of the
like
small blind.
really- I thought it was going to be like, and then it's very quick, but.
I wanted like a kiss.
Cliff is going to raise it up, makes it 30,000 to go.
And now over to the chip leader with King 5 offsuit.
That'd be pretty badass.
I think that is a bet that Mr. O'Dwyer will call to defend his big blind, and he does with King 5.
I got to go backstage at a kiss concert.
Steve said that with that chip lead, he planned to put a lot of pressure on the others at the table. He has done that thus far. Flop is 7, 8, 5 with 2 hearts.
My first concert was Kiss.
Well, Steve has flopped the best hand here with a pair of 5s.
What's that smell? What's that smell? Now tell me. Oh, it's the pyrotechnics.
Cliff is first to act. He is going to check.
Were you like, this is
Opening the
same
door
smell
for
I
Steve.
smell in Daddy's room.
I wish I smelled
Steve is going to check behind.
Turn card is 9.
And the turn is a 9.
Well, that's not a good card for Cliff. Now both players have a gut shot straight draw.
I always offered them.
Cliff's going to need a queen to win this hand, and he is ready to make a bet.
Let's see if Mr. O'Dwyer buys what he is trying to sell. Right now, Cliff on a stone cold bluff.
They were both singers.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
All of these players have been playing with each other since last night coming into today, so they're familiar with each other's game. They know Cliff is not a professional, but they do respect that he's gotten this deep. Steve is going to flat call the turn here.
You got excited about
And here comes the river. It's another 9. Cliff first act. Does he have it in him to fire one more bullet here on the river?
He's going to have to fire if he's going to win this hand. And he is going to fire a second bullet.
I don't think that's going to be enough to get Steve to lay down his pair.
Are you as excited about the 9 as you are about jazz? So I'm not too excited about thinking about calling 22,000 here, but
What about jazz? Excited about that.
I don't know enough about jazz to comment.
So many different ways that a pair of 5s is beat here, but the price is just so good.
And Cliff, I think, was successful in what he was trying to do, which is make his bet look like a please call me bet, but the price is so good that Steve is going to make the call thinking he's paying him off, when in fact he does have the best hand.
We're entering into I'd be stupid if I didn't make the call territory here, aren't we? If for nothing else, let's just see what this amateur is up to.
Right. And unfortunately, when Cliff shows his hand, he's going to give off a little bit of information to these other players.
I'm going to do my best Daniel Negreanu impression I can think of and pay you off, because I'm very curious. I have to see.
Well, Steve, if you're trying to pull off Daniel Negreanu, first of all, you need a little better highlight job. And in this case, you are right. You're not paying him off. You are winning the pot.
And then, of course, you calls anyway.
And just like we suspected, Fred, Steve wanted to see what Cliff was up to. Say, hey, listen, I watched you do it once before. It worked against Andy. It's not working against me. Jeremiah DeGrief takes us to break with a little Arabic.
أنتم تشاهدون Epic Poker الآن.
Welcome back to the HPT with Fred Bevel. I'm Chris Hansen, and Fred, a lot of aggressive play at our final table tonight, and that's not unusual. Card rooms all over America have plenty of aggressive players. Now, what you have to do is figure out how to play against the aggressive player. Insert 2004 World Series of Poker main event champ Greg Raymer with tonight's pro tip on how to handle the aggressive player.
Everything else being the same, you are better off playing aggressive poker rather than passive poker. Passive players, that's calling stations, and it's really hard to win when you're a calling station. But an aggressive player, well, he can win because he can make a bet or a raise and everyone folds, or if he gets called, he can end up having the best hand at showdown. So aggressive play is generally the best way to play. But how do you deal when the opponent is the aggressive player? Well, if he's tight and aggressive, you mostly just stay out of his way. He's being tight, he's waiting for good hands. That means you just leave him alone and don't mess with him unless you have a really good hand yourself. Now, if your opponent is loose and aggressive, well, that's fine, because this means he might not have a good hand. And that just means that you have to pick the right hands in the right situations and play back at him. You can be tight and patient and wait for a really good hand yourself, and then you can play back at him and you don't care what he does. Whether he folds or raises back, you're happy either way because you probably have the best hand. Or if you think that he will be aggressive once but then fold when you hit him back, now you can re-raise him with potentially pretty weak hands and just try to steal the pot back from him. So either way, it's okay if your opponent is aggressive. You would rather they were passive, but no matter what your opponent does, there's always a correct counter strategy. You have to find it, implement it, and hopefully run good this time.
Boy, 10 years in the game, things really have changed, haven't they, in the game of poker? Much of that wouldn't have made much sense to people 10 years ago. Now, you speak in everybody's language.
I didn't get it.
Doesn't surprise me. Still, our chip leader is Steve O'Dwyer at our final table. We are at the Palms in Las Vegas, Nevada at the inaugural Epic Poker League Pro-Am If you don't have one of the cards to get into the Epic Poker League, this is your only way in. It's a $20,000 buy-in. All these players already have it. Now they're just playing for bragging rights and a little extra change in the form of $24K to our winner tonight.
Andy Block, the only card-carrying Epic Pro at this final table, raises it up to $24,000 with Ace-King suited. Best drawing hand in poker. I lose with it almost every time.
Micah's putting his tournament life all in with Ace-5 offsuit over to Cliff. He's got 9-7. He will get out of the way. And now to our chip leader. Steve will fold. A quick call from Andy, and Micah Raskin is going to need a lot of help to stay alive at this final table.
Andy Block's way ahead, just needs to fade a 5.
Here comes the flop. It's 10-4 deuce.
Okay, now he needs to fade a 3 or a 5.
And here comes the turn. It's a jack. So far, so good.
Micah Raskin, his tournament life rests on a 3 or a 5 on the river.
And the river is an ace, and that's going to do it for Micah. He will be the first player eliminated here at our final table, but Fred still walking away with a $20,000 buy-in to the Epic Poker League main event.
This event's over, 6th place for you, but we've got the main event to look forward to, and you've got the $20,000 seat to this event. So again, you have to clear your mind now as you approach a new tournament.
That's right, and that's exciting, that's big money, and ready to do well in that tournament.
Here is our updated chip count with that elimination. It is still Steve O'Dwyer. Now with 35% of the chips in play, our new short stack is the Army veteran, Jeremiah DeGrief.
Blinds are up. We're at 6 and 12,000 with a 2K Annie. Andy first to act. He folds. Cliff folds. Over to Steve.
And now it's Queen 9 for the chip leader, Steve O'Dwyer.
I don't think I'm going to
Raise.
On the button, he's going to raise it up to 25,000.
25,000.
And pocket kings for Brandon.
I'd fold. I mean, see, I run so bad with pocket kings. They're always going to bring an ace, and then what do? But with Brandon's stack going against a chip leader, the question is, do you raise or do you flat? He is going to re-raise. Makes it 71,000 to go.
Jeremiah folds, and now back to Steve. Steve is on the button.
52,000 for Steve to see a flop with Queen 9. He will have position.
And it's the kind of hand that if you don't absolutely crush the flop, you can get away from fairly easily. Of course, that's usually my downfall in the game of poker. Let's see the flop.
Might as well see the turn then.
Sure. Stephen O'Dwyer from Doylestown, Pennsylvania is going to make the call.
Well, Steve is going to try to pull some post-flop magic to get Brandon off the kings here.
And let's see the flop. Flop is deuce, king, 8, rainbow.
Great flop for Brandon. He's flopped top set.
He's going to be first to act.
And he is not going to try to check and induce a bluff. He is going to lead out.
Another one of those tiny bets to Steve. This one is 25,000 into about 175,000 chip pot. That's not even a mosquito bite. That's just hearing the mosquito buzzing in the room is all that is, as far as bets are concerned.
Well, you know, Steve just sitting with queen high here. No draw, no pair, no anything really on this flop for him. Well, Steve is staging chips here. And he is going to re-raise it
to 65,000. So it's 40K for Brandon. Got a little wry smile coming on Brandon's mouth there, thinking, huh, I'm getting exactly what I want.
Brandon's got to be dancing in his head right now, thinking, I've got action and I've got top set on a rainbow board.
Does he want to maybe get them all in the middle here? Does he just want to call? Maybe fire out a bet on the turn? So many different options when you're looking at a set of cowboys. Really, the possibilities are endless.
It's a lot of fun to play poker when you know you're in chip extraction mode.
Absolutely.
He is going to re-raise. I believe that makes the 5th bet on this treat.
Steve took the one shot he was going to try to win the pot, and Brandon is going to win a huge pot here, mainly with the chips from our chip leader. More poker from the Palms when we come back.
Well, my name is Clifford Wade. I'm from Grand Junction, Colorado, and I just retired from truck driving. You know, I'm very excited to be here. I've made a final table before. I feel like I'm representing the Heartland Poker Tour in this field, and all the older guys that have semi-retired or retired, they're looking to do this for fun. I'm also playing in one of the best fields I've ever played in, so doing that here amongst a number of top-tier professionals is just exciting. You look around at every table, and there's 3 or 4 top pros at every table. I wanted to come out here and find out for myself if I can play at this level. I'll worry about tomorrow. Today is focused on 5 other players, and my goal is to beat those 5 players.
Cliff was one of the HPT regulars, including some of our past champions that joined us out here in Las Vegas this week. And let's take a look at the updated chip count after Steve loses that pot, tightens things up between Brandon, he, and Andy. Different levels that you can get of an Epic Poker League card, different years you can qualify for.
And if you're ever wondering who the best in the game is today, well, just log on to epicpoker.com and check out the Global Poker Index.
I can give you a hint. You will not find Chris Hansen or Fred Bevel anywhere in that top 200.
Not yet, anyway.
Something to shoot for, my friend.
There you go. Steve raises it up with King 9 to 27,000. Andy makes the call with Ace 7.
And here is the flop. It's 10, Queen 9, 2 diamonds.
Steve has flopped the best of it with a pair of 9s. Andy checks. Action is on Steve right now.
Well, it's the big stack and arguably the best player at the table involved in a hand. Although it's really not even a point of argument that Andy is the best player and the most experienced at this table. I'm sure that everyone would agree with that. Andy will fold, and so our chip leader will win another pot.
Well, then it would have to be.
Lots more events on the HPT ARG coming up. All you have to do is go to hptpoker.com to find out about our upcoming events when we might be in your backyard.
I don't like the deck.
Action this hand starts with the chip leader, Steve O'Dwyer. He's got the rookie hand, King Jack. But Steve is not a rookie. He is going to raise it up to 27,000.
He did all kinds of crazy stuff with like a cut card.
Over to Brandon Myers. He will fold. Jeremiah folds.
I was like, you can't be the only
Andy
one
looks
that
down at 10-5. That goes to the muck, and now to Cliff. In the big blind, will call with 10-7 of hearts, and these two will battle yet again. Flop is Queen 7 King.
cut it.
Well, both players caught a piece of this. Unfortunately for Cliff, Steve has flopped top pair.
Shuffle machines are rigged.
Cliff hit bottom pair and bets 30,000. Action back over to Steve.
Yeah, but they.
No offense, you could shuffle the cards just as well,
Well, yeah,
but
like-
not with 3 riffles.
That's gonna definitely randomize it more than like even it could in that.
It should.
And Steve is just going to call. It's interesting when you see these players play against Cliff, as you see him play against like an Andy Block or a Brandon Myers. They're re-raising each other. They step a little cautiously with Cliff.
Which is an advantage that an amateur player would have in these types of fields. The turn is another spade. It's the ace of spades.
Cliff checks, and Steve checks behind.
More
3 spades on the board. Neither one of them has a spade in their hand. The river is a 4.
Let's see if Cliff can fire another bullet at this.
Now, last time he tried to small bet him to get him off the hand. I don't think he's going to try that move again. This time he's going to bet 50,000. He's getting a little better.
Well, Cliff did bet a little bit more, but unfortunately still giving Steve a great price, and he's got second pair.
Cliff Waite is going to win this hand with next to nothing. Nice job, Cliff. More poker from the Epic Poker League Pro-Am in Las Vegas on the HPT.
Great time at the Palms this week. Thanks to everybody. Back to the final table. We're on Jeremiah.
He looks down at deuce 4 offsuit and will fold. Andy folds 2. Over to Cliff. No thank you. And now to the blinds. Ace 4 for Steven.
Just going to limp from the small blind.
And now over to JT.
It's Brandon Myers.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I know you have a big crush on JT.
All right.
That's not him.
He will check the big blind option. And here comes the flop. Jack 6 deuce rainbow.
Well, Brandon has flopped the best of it with a pair of 6s. Steve is going to check. Brandon is going to bet 15,000. Steve is going to float here to see what Brandon does on the turn.
The turn is an ace, and now that puts Steve in the lead. And they both check. Here comes the river. It's another jack.
Steve has got the best hand unless Brandon can bet him off of this. Steve is going to fire 30,000 in chips.
Brandon calls. And Steve turns up the winner. His 2 pair, aces and jacks, are better than Brandon's jacks and 6s, and so Steve is going to win this pot.
And the rich keep getting richer.
Now, this Pro-Am event was a $1,500 buy-in. The top 9 players all get a $20,000 non-transferable seat into the Epic Poker League main event. And Fred, if you're not qualified for the league, this Pro-Am series is the only way you get in.
And they do satellites all the time here at the Palm, so it's easy to get in for as little as $180 for a chance at $1 million.
That's how our friend Cliff Waite is sitting at this final table. $180 satellite has got him his $20,000 seat. It's a great thing about this, Fred. You play the HPT a lot, great events, money in your local casino, but you want to come out here to Vegas, give a shot at it? Who knows? You might be playing for $1 million with the best players in poker.
Brandon has raised it up to $130,000, and that is going to be enough to put Jeremiah all in. And we're going to see two hands that aren't great, but both are live.
Good enough for Jeremiah to get all the chips in, and look at that, with King 9 offsuit, he finds himself ahead going to the flop to stay alive here at our final table. And the flop, it is 3-6 Jack. Brandon pairs his threes. Jeremiah still with 2 live cards. Jeremiah gonna have to come from behind to stay alive.
6 Jack.
And the turn is a 7.
8, 10.
Now Jeremiah hoping to find a king or a 9, or his tournament life is over.
And the river. It is a 10, and our second player will be walking away from this HPT final table. But again, here at the Epic Pro-Am, all 6 of these players already in the Epic Poker League main event.
A 5th place finish. You got the $20,000 seat into the Epic Poker League main event. So this was just a warm-up to the biggie.
Indeed, and I didn't want to play too late anyways tonight because I got to get up early, got to be refreshed and all that. So it worked out perfectly. This is my plan.
Well, Fred, even though they've already each got a seat into the main event for the Epic Poker League that's worth $20,000, still a lot of pride to be played for here at our final table. Come back to find out who will be the first ever Epic Poker League Pro-Am champion and our newest HPT champion. Now, I think you've got what it takes to come and sit at our final table. Well, then log on to hptpoker.com to find out about our upcoming events. For James Larson and Fred Bevel, I'm Chris Hansen. See you next time right here on the HPT.